Hey everyone, Taiwan Semiconductor is scheduled to report earnings results on Thursday, July 18th. So I wanted to preview those upcoming figures and answer if I think investors should buy Taiwan Semiconductor stock before or after it reports quarterly earnings, or if you should buy this stock at all. So let's take a look. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. All right, so Taiwan Semiconductor is forecasting revenue in the range of 19.6 billion to 20.4 billion in the upcoming quarterly earnings release. Remember, in the first quarter, the company was guiding to revenue at the midpoint of 18.4 billion, and it delivered 18.9 billion in revenue. Similarly, Taiwan Semi is forecasting 40 to 42% in operating profit margin in the second quarter. It forecasted the same operating profit margin in the first quarter. It delivered on the higher end of that forecast, coming in at 42% operating profit margin in the first quarter. Of course, Taiwan Semiconductor is the supplier to some of the most popular AI companies in the world, including NVIDIA and AMD. NVIDIA does not manufacture its own chips. Rather, it outsources the manufacturing to Taiwan Semiconductor. And so as NVIDIA prospers, so will Taiwan Semiconductor. That's probably why you're considering Taiwan Semi as an investment today, is because you've heard that it's a supplier to NVIDIA and you're bullish on NVIDIA's prospects and you're looking to benefit from NVIDIA's boom indirectly through Taiwan Semiconductor, which I've felt is a reasonable strategy. I've had Taiwan Semiconductor stock rated as a buy all year long, and I'm happy with the results as the stock has performed exceptionally well here in 2024. As I highlighted, Taiwan Semiconductor's stock price is up to $184 per share. That's up significantly from around $90 per share where it started 2024. So the stock price has more than doubled year to date in 2024. Still, looking at the company's longer term, it has demonstrated excellent performance. It's not just in the last year and a half that Taiwan Semiconductor has performed well. Revenue has increased to 71.46 billion in the trailing 12 months. That's up from a little more than 20 billion in 2015. I wouldn't be surprised if Taiwan Semiconductor's revenue approaches 100 billion in the next 5 years as a result of the growing demand for semiconductor chips. Some market expectations forecast that semiconductor demand will double from current levels over the next decade, and Taiwan Semiconductor will certainly benefit from that tailwind. Now, it's not just that Taiwan Semiconductor has been growing revenue, it's also one of the more profitable companies in the world. In the most recent trailing 12-month period, it generated an operating profit margin of 41.82%, and that was up from roughly 38% in 2015. Taiwan Semiconductor is making significant investments in expanding its manufacturing capabilities outside of Taiwan. Billions of dollars in investments in new countries like Japan and the United States will help diversify its supply chain outside of Taiwan. Additionally, Taiwan Semiconductor is investing billions of dollars to capitalize on the latest generation technology, the most innovative technology, so that it can continue to increase its performance and increase its desirability among chip designers like NVIDIA, because it has the capability to produce these cutting-edge technologies. Now, with the increase in Taiwan Semiconductor's share price has also been the increase in the valuation. When I rated Taiwan Semiconductor stock a buy earlier in 2024, it was trading at a forward price to earnings in the low double digits, around 12 to 13. That valuation has now soared up to a forward price to earnings of 22.59, near the highest this stock has traded for, going all the way back to early 2021. So it's on the more expensive side of its valuation over the last 3 to 4 years. Now, Taiwan Semiconductor has earned this premium valuation because of the business prospects are much improved over the last year and a half. That being said, when I'm forecasting or when I'm trying to answer whether or not to buy a stock before or after earnings, one of the things I'm looking at is valuation. Is it on the higher end of its valuation? Does it appear relatively expensive according to its past? Or does it appear relatively cheap according to its past? And if I want to buy before earnings, what I'm looking for is a stock that's trading on the lower end of where it's been over the last several years. Because in those instances, I'm concerned that the earnings do not have to be that strong and the stock price will jump anyways because it's coming into the earnings release at a depressed valuation. However, when you're coming into the earnings at an elevated valuation, then the earnings report has to be exceptional to cause another increase in share price. So when you're coming into the earnings release on this upward momentum, there's greater risk to the downside than there is to the upside. So when I'm coming in with the valuation stretched as Taiwan Semi, I'm more inclined to suggest buying after the earnings release because I'm more concerned with the risks to the downside than the risks to the upside. And that's precisely what I would suggest here for Taiwan Semiconductor. I think it's an excellent business with great profitability, great revenue growth, and great expectations over the next several years. However, the valuation is on the higher end. So I would be more concerned with the risks to the downside. So if I was an investor thinking about buying this stock before or after earnings, I would wait until after earnings when we're this close to the earnings release. Let the new information come out, digest that new information, make sure everything is okay, and then you can go ahead and make the purchase. Now, there is a chance that the earnings will be so good that the stock price will jump by 30% and you might miss out on those gains. There is that risk. But I would rather take that risk than coming into it, buying it before this information is out, and then the stock price falling significantly, and then dealing with those losses. So in this case, I prefer waiting, digesting the new information, then making a decision. Of course, I will have a review of Taiwan Semi's earnings results soon after they are available to the public. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.